Hi, welcome everybody to day 3 of Loyola's Study Abroad Virtual Spring Fair. This is our last day of our 3-day event, and today we're going to be exploring part 2 of Loyola's Semester Exchange programs, plus another special Loyola program. We have a guest speaker that's going to talk to us as well. But before we get into the specific programs, I would like to introduce me and my office. So the Center for International Education is the office that sends students abroad on programs. Our director is here joining us today, Mariette Thomas, and of course, me, I'm Wyatt. I'm the study abroad advisor. Our contact information is on the slide if you want to write it down, but we'll share it again at the end of the presentation. If you have any questions about anything that you see here today, you're more than welcome to email cie@loino.edu or make an appointment through our website listed here, studyabroad.loino.edu. A couple of event notes before we get started. This event is intended to be an introductory overview of our Loyola Exchange programs. We're not going to get super in-depth about course offerings, costs, anything like that. That would all be discussed in advising appointments. This is kind of supposed to feel like window shopping a little bit. You are welcome to ask questions about specific programs or general study abroad info at any time. And you can submit your questions via the chat, which only hosts can see, or by clicking the raise your hand button, and we will unmute you. So maybe a good place to start is with the question, why study abroad? Why is this something that should be on your radar? Why should you be thinking about study abroad as something in your Loyola experience? There are tons of reasons why, and your reason doesn't have to be the same as somebody else's reason. But what I always like to mention is how life-changing it can potentially be for students. And I support that with with research that was done with people who had done study abroad even as far back as 50 years ago. And so the questions were basically, what was the college experience that stuck with you the longest? And most of them said that their study abroad experience had the strongest enduring impact on their lives. Think about that. When you think about the courses that you're taking and how great they are, when you think about the professors you work with and how fantastic they are, the study abroad experience that you are considering taking may have the strongest enduring impact on your life. It certainly has for me as well. It's true for me. At Loyola, we are really proud of our study abroad culture. In a graduating class, we see almost a third of those students leaving Loyola with some type of study abroad experience. Doesn't mean necessarily a semester abroad, could be a summer or some other type of program, but a third leave with study abroad experience. And we're really proud of that because the national average at a 4-year degree program is about 16%. So quick math says we're double that, always looking to improve our numbers. So we went over this a little bit yesterday during part 1. I'll go over it again real quick. What are semester exchange programs? Excuse me. So generally speaking, what they look like is you're going to go to a Loyola partner university to study and live like a regular student. It's a lot like what you do here, except you're over there. You will enroll directly and take a full load of courses with either host national or international students or a mix of those people. So a lot of chance to meet new people from new cultures and new backgrounds. In terms of program eligibility, the GPA requirement usually varies. It does vary, but it's usually around 2.75. Could be a little less, could be a little more depending on the program. And then most of our semester exchanges require you to be a junior by credit, although some will make exceptions for sophomores. And if you're interested in going abroad as a sophomore, we can take a look at what options are available to you. Don't think that you have to just take courses that are in your major. Anything that's on your DPCL, you can take in a study abroad program as long as it works for you when you get back. So that could be major credits, minor credits. If you can find a program that gets you core credits, that works. If you want to save up a full semester's worth of general electives and take them all on a study abroad program, you can do that as well. Anything on your DPCL is fair game as long as it makes sense for your degree map. And of course, a semester exchange is a great chance to immerse yourself in another culture, get outside your own cultural bubble, see what else is out there in the world. From a cost and finances perspective, I'm speaking very generally here, but in general, you are billed Loyola tuition and fees. Room, board, and other costs will vary by program. We take a closer look at those cost differences when we meet in advising appointments. All of your current scholarships and financial aid will apply to a Loyola exchange program. And in addition to what you already receive, there are additional scholarship opportunities out there. The two that I'll highlight right now are FEA, the Fund for Education Abroad. You can apply for that pretty much regardless of what program you want to do. And then the Gilman Scholarship is only for Pell Grant recipients. There are several others, but these are the two I'll highlight. I just want you to know that other opportunities are out there. And so now I want to turn the floor over to our guest speaker. Her name is Cristina Morales. She is going to talk to us a little bit about Loyola's Global Triple MBA Master. So let me stop sharing. Cristina, are you there? Uh-oh, we've got to unmute Cristina.
Thank you.
Are you there?
I'm here. I just couldn't unmute myself. Can you guys see me? Let me see if I can share my screen with you guys. 2 seconds. Just gonna go here in present mode.
Okay.
And do you see my slide?
Yep, I see the one slide.
Okay, perfect. All right. So hi, everyone, and good afternoon. As Wyatt was saying, my name is Cristina Morales, and I'm the MBA Program Director here at Loyola. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about a unique study abroad opportunity that we are offering through the College of Business starting next fall. So a little different than what Wyatt was explaining regarding the study abroad and exchange programs, our Global MBA Triple Master is a graduate degree. So students that would be eligible to apply for this program would be anyone that would be graduating as early as this spring semester, or if you've already graduated, or if you're an alumni, right? So you would need a bachelor's degree conferred in order to apply to this program. But as the name explains, our Global MBA Triple Master is a global Master of Business Administration program that would allow our students to complete their degree while visiting 3 different campuses. So you would complete 1/3 of your degree at Loyola, another third at Schema Business School in Paris, France, and then you would finish up your degree at LMU in Munich, Germany. So it allows you to get those 3 separate degrees in 3 different schools. So essentially this program is just ideal for anybody that is either, again, graduating from one of our business programs here at Loyola or any other school, and also anybody that's just looking to attend their graduate program as a full-time student with that international aspect to it. So if you see on the bottom of this slide, you can see sort of the progression of what students would go into each university and what they're pursuing, but your program totals 40 credit hours, or 45, excuse me, 45 credit hours, and you start your degree at Loyola New Orleans with your first 15 US credits. So basic accounting, finance, marketing, strategy, and so forth, 15 credits at Loyola. Then you move on into Schema Business School at the end of your fall semester. So you're going to spend springtime in Paris. What a wonderful time to be in Paris. And you complete 15 credit hours there with the Schema Business School faculty. A little bit about Schema, if you're not familiar with these universities. The reason why we're so excited about this opportunity for our Loyola students and for all of our students in general is we get to partner with these two great universities in Europe. Schema Business School and LMU both have been ranked numerous years in top 20 in the world in their Masters in Management programs, Masters in Finance program. So we're really excited to be able to have this program with them because our students will have the advantage of taking classes with our faculty here, but you also get to learn from faculty in these highly regarded and highly ranked universities. So again, spring in Paris, you finish up 15 credit hours there, and then you wrap up your global MBA degree at LMU. You finish up in October in Germany. So really exciting opportunity. And then the reason this program is called our Global MBA Triple Master is in addition to completing your 45 credits and completing your Global MBA, students will then have the option to complete an additional 15 credit hour thesis project. And if you do decide to complete the 15 credit hour thesis, you would end up graduating with your Loyola MBA plus 2 additional specialized master's degree, one from each of these partner universities. So you would finish up with a master's in management from LMU, and then you would also finish up with a Diplôme Grande École from Schema Business School. So 3 degrees as an option, and when you take that supplemental or the extra 15 credit hour thesis project. And then I know we do have limited time today, so I do want to give you all quickly, the application process for this program is very similar to our application process for all of our other graduate programs. So application form, we do need 2 letters of recommendation. We're going to need to see your resume, statement of purpose, official GMAT scores, and transcripts. We do have, I want to take this opportunity to invite you all to, if you are interested in learning more about this opportunity and you have questions and whatnot, we are hosting a webinar with representatives from Loyola, but also from the 2 other partner schools on Thursday, February 11th at 10 a.m. Registration is linked on our page, so just go to business.loyola.edu. But yeah, that's the application process. We do have GMAT waivers available for our Loyola seniors and graduates. So feel free to just send us questions about the application process, GMAT waiver eligibility, and so forth. But yeah, thank you so much for giving me this time to talk to our students, Wyatt.
My pleasure, Christina. Just a quick question for me, out of curiosity, and maybe for anyone else who's interested. Do you have to have been a business major as an undergrad?
No, that's a great question. It is ideal for anybody that is coming to us with some basic knowledge in business. So if you've at least taken a financial or managerial accounting, that's going to help you when you go into those core classes, but it's not a formal requirement. We definitely have students coming to us from all different educational backgrounds. Depending on what your experience is professionally and depending on what classes you took at the undergraduate level, the admissions committee may recommend that you take a math primer course before enrolling into our classes. But those assessments would be handled on a case-by-case basis, depending on, again, your experience, your transcript. So what I would encourage students to do is if you are not a business major and you're interested in just learning more, just reach out to me and we can take a look at your transcripts and see if there's still time for you to maybe pick up an undergraduate class right now just to get that knowledge or get that foundation while you're still enrolled. And if not, we can discuss that math primer class. But no, it's not a formal requirement.
Got it. Thank you very much. I have put the link to the Global MBA Triple Master website in the chat. And actually, Christina, I'm pretty sure this is your email, but maybe you can confirm cmmoral2@loyola.edu.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, that's all in the chat. So if you have questions for Christina, please feel free to reach out.
Perfect. Yep.
Now,
thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna reclaim the screen.
Yes.
And I will share my screen so we can get back to my slides. All right, are we good to go? Does everybody see MAGIS Exchange program? Okay, Christina, thank you very much once again. Appreciate it. MAGIS Exchange program, you'll notice that it has multiple locations. This is an exchange program of member universities of the International Association of Jesuit Universities. So it is a multilateral exchange network. You're not going to one particular host university. You have actually a choice from a lot. So there are 13 member universities in Latin America, 5 in India, excuse me, 2 in Spain. And then we have member universities in Indonesia, the Philippines, Lebanon, Japan, and Kenya. So if any of those places seem interesting to you, they are available through the MAGIS Exchange. The course offerings vary by host institution, of course, and there are too many to put on one little slide, so I'll just leave it at that. But we can definitely explore what courses exist at any of these institutions if you're interested. It is very Jesuit focused, Jesuit value focused. And as such, there is a Jesuit mission co-curricular component in addition to the courses that you'd take there at your host program. So this co-curricular component can look like several different things. It can look like an internship, volunteering in the local community, or a service learning project. And of course, with all the different host institutions, I can't really talk very specifically about them here, but it's part of the MAGIS Exchange. And in addition to the co-curricular component, there is also an online global environmental citizen course component. The course itself is designed and facilitated by Loyola Chicago. And at the end of this online course, you are granted a certificate, which you can certainly put on a resume or talk about in an interview. So the MAGIS application is a little bit different than our typical Loyola exchanges. It's a rank and match system, meaning you can rank which MAGIS member universities you want to go to, and then we try to place you as high up as we possibly can, but you don't always get your #1 choice. Host universities can suggest housing options, but ultimately students must arrange their own housing. And this program promotes Ignatian men and women for others in a cross-cultural setting. And one thing I say is that if the Jesuit mission of Loyola is something that really, really pulls at your heart, then the MAGIS Exchange program would be a really great program to explore. So here's a quick video for us to watch.
What's a MAGIS?
MAGIS is a Jesuit ideal or part of Jesuit spirituality that means the more. For the World Youth Day experience, MAGIS means a special program in which you can embody that meaning and go to another part of the world and experience what it really means to live out your faith with people from the Catholic Church from all different countries, and to really become a part of the World Youth Day experience instead of just witness it.
So, like, why should I go?
Kind of going to this was my first chance breaking out of this little bubble that I've grown up in and kind of the United States Catholic Church, which is beautiful, but it was amazing to see how much diversity there is and all the different people that are involved. And I think that's what stuck with me the most, was just how, I am one person, but I am also the church, and they are also the church, and we are all one. And that was just an amazing experience.
Uh-oh. Come on back. There we go.
What's a MAGIS?
Stop, please.
MAGIS is...
Thank you, we heard. Okay. Yeah, so MAGIS Exchange program, not just one school, a network of schools, really focused on Jesuit values. As a reminder, if you have questions, you can submit them via chat or click raise your hand and we can unmute you. Massey University is the next program we're going to highlight. Massey has multiple campuses, and kind of what you want to study will depend on which campus you go to. So the campuses that they have are in Auckland, Palmerston North, and Wellington, Wellington being the capital. So as I mentioned, different campuses can offer different courses. There is some overlap. In Auckland, you'll find business, humanities, social sciences, and environmental sciences. In Palmerston North, you'll find the arts. Humanities, also sports sciences and Maori studies. And then in Wellington, there's music industry courses, design, visual arts, and communications. Wellington being kind of like the creative campus. Several courses at Massey do offer fieldwork or field trip opportunities. Mostly these courses are earth or environmental sciences, but New Zealand is such a biodiverse country that these are really fantastic opportunities for earth or environmental science majors to get some really once in a lifetime fieldwork opportunities. Massey does also offer a global student athlete program. So if you're a student athlete and you're worried about kind of not maintaining your training in the off season, Massey's program actually offers you the opportunity to train with Massey student athletes and even the All Blacks, which is the New Zealand national rugby team. Very, very scary guys. And there are internship opportunities for journalism, marketing, or communication students. So aside from just the courses, there are plenty of opportunities to do kind of professional development type things that I would definitely put on a resume. Because there are multiple campuses, Massey does offer on-campus residence halls. Those are available by application. You're not required to go that route, but it's there if you want it. I mentioned these programs. Massey is a really, really great program for environmental studies majors, environmental science majors, or student athletes who are looking to stay, kind of in training in the off season. And if you have electives, I would really, really suggest taking Maori or Indigenous culture studies. Massey offers really great programs in that area, and you'll be there. So why not learn about it while you're there? Got it. Okay. Maynooth University is the next program that I'm going to highlight. Maynooth University is located in Maynooth, Ireland, which is actually just a little bit outside of Dublin, the capital. So Maynooth offers courses in the following faculties. There's the Faculty of Arts, Celtic Studies, and Philosophy. So you'll find courses about the ancient classics, media studies, and music. They have a Faculty of Science and Engineering, so you can find STEM, computer science, and psych courses. And then social science faculty offers things like anthropology, business, and sociology. If you're really interested, students can also take 1 to 2 theology courses at local St. Patrick's College, though that's not a requirement. I'd like to point out that Maynooth is pretty flexible with the types of courses that you can take. In the UK and in some other European countries, some universities like to make you take all of your courses just in one faculty. In Maynooth, that's not really the case. So you could take a couple of courses in Celtic Studies, a couple of courses in psych, and then a couple of courses in sociology if you wanted to. They're pretty flexible. They do offer a really great semester plus internship program. So basically what it looks like is that students do coursework in the spring semester, and then they're placed in a 6-week internship following the spring semester. It is at an extra cost to the student, and that covers things like your housing. But it's a fantastic opportunity to get some post-study abroad cultural immersion in the Irish work environment. Students can apply for on-campus housing or host family stays. Maynooth, as I mentioned, is a 30-minute train ride from Dublin city center. And I would classify or describe Maynooth as pretty similar to Loyola in terms of size and support and community. So if you like the small university feel of Loyola, you'll find something pretty similar at Maynooth. Let me see if we have any questions coming to me. No? Wait, was that a question? That's right. I will take the chance to mention that Maynooth is offering an exciting new scholarship for Black, Indigenous, and persons of color students. I believe our director has shared the link in the chat, so check that And here's a quick video.
Welcome to Maynooth University. Maynooth is Ireland's fastest growing university, with over 13,000 students from over 90 countries. Located just outside the capital city of Dublin, there is no better place for you to experience the next step in your education.
With fantastic accommodation on campus and a wealth of amenities, Maynooth is a truly unique university.
Where the old
Meets the new.
where you can hang out with your fellow students.
Want to take a bit of quiet time? Shh.
Where you can get some study done. Or sneak a quick snooze between classes.
You can spend some time in nature.
Or escape to new worlds with the latest technology.
With plenty of options for eating,
Playing.
or just grabbing a cup of coffee. You will find everything you need for a student life right here at Maynooth. Maynooth University, where the sky is the limit.
Maynooth University. The next program I want to highlight is MICEFA in Paris, France. And I should point out that MICEFA is not one university. It is a group of about 15 or 16 universities in and around the Paris area. And to some extent, what you want to study determines which member university you'll be placed in. There you go, 16 universities in and around Paris, Ile-de-France. You can take courses such as French as a foreign language, international studies, fine arts are available, fine or studio arts, business, communications, law, humanities and social sciences are certainly found at some of the member universities, and even physical and life sciences. Again, what you want to study depends on which of these 16 universities you can attend. Courses are available in either English or French if your French is high enough. Loyola will require 4 semesters of French for you to apply for this program. And students can also take 2 MICEFA courses. So these are courses that are outside what is offered at the member universities. You can take up to 2 MICEFA courses that are specially designed for exchange students, and you'll basically be learning French or studying French culture, history, that kind of thing. And they do offer courses for all proficiency levels, so you don't have to worry about how great your French is in a classroom setting. Because there are several potential universities that you could go to through MICEFA, students can coordinate several housing options with MICEFA's help. But ultimately, where you end up depends largely on which university you attend. And so for that reason, you may not know your long-term housing until after you arrive. You'll arrive at short-term housing, and then you'll figure out where you're going, and then you'll do your long-term housing. Paris is great for culture. I don't have to sell Paris too often, but I will mention that it is somewhat difficult to practice your French there. So if you're improving your French language skills is really high up on your goal for study abroad, we may want to look at some different options. See if we have any questions. From Olivia asking, would high school language credits count? Well, Olivia, what I would say is, excuse me, going back to this slide where it says 4 semesters of French or equivalent required. So what we mean by equivalent is that either your transcript shows that you've taken 4 semesters of French at Loyola, or separate from that, you take a placement test or you get evaluated by a Loyola faculty member and they say, yeah, Olivia is operating at that level. She's good to go, all right? So it's either that you have 4 Loyola semesters or separately from that, you're at that level. Does that make sense? Hope so. Let me know if it doesn't. Here's a quick video. Again, don't need to sell Paris too often, but fun to watch. Check our chat. You're welcome, Olivia. I'm glad that made sense. On a personal note, Paris is where I did my study abroad program 20 years ago. It's a beautiful city. Love it. All right, the next program to highlight is PUCE, my Spanish is so terrible, but it's in Quito, Ecuador, which is in South America, right? And here's a beautiful picture. So PUCE is a real unique program from all other Loyola exchanges. And that's because Loyola students who do this program will work with a special resident director at PUCE. And this resident director is your main point of contact while you're there and is also the person who teaches an Ecuador core course on Ecuadorian history, politics, and culture. And then the resident director also leads the 3 excursions that you'll go on per semester. Excuse me. There are 4 main academic track options at PUCE. The first is a Spanish language track. So if you're a fairly low-level Spanish proficiency student and you want to go to a place where you're just going to focus on your Spanish and improve it as much as possible, this would be the track for you. There is an academic track, which means that your Spanish is good enough that you can take your courses completely in Spanish. And so in that track, you're taking just regular courses, could be in psych, could be in sociology, could be in something else, taught in Spanish. The third track is a biology or environmental studies / Spanish track. And this basically means that you're working primarily on your Spanish, but you do have the option to do a biology or environmental studies lab, anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. And then the last track is a biology and environmental studies / academic track. So again, your Spanish is good and you're confident enough in it that you can take biology and environmental studies courses and also a lab. The lab is optional, but it's there if you want to do it. The Ecuador core course that I mentioned focuses on Ecuadorian identity, culture, and history. And as part of that, you do get to experience 3 multi-day excursions that in the past have included destinations such as the Amazon rainforest, the Galapagos Islands, or Yasuni National Park. Student housing is a homestay experience with Ecuadorian families. We do not offer any other housing options. Students are basically required to stay with Ecuadorian families. We consider this program to be a very deep dive into Ecuadorian culture because of the Ecuador identity course, because of the homestay component. And so it's probably one of the programs where you do the deepest dive into the host culture. I guess I will point out that Quito is the capital of Ecuador, And it's also the second highest capital in the world, being in the Andes. So there is a period of altitude adjustment that you'll have to experience. Now I need to set the subtitles and the auto translate on here, and then I will play the video real quick. Okay, I believe that will work.
Bienvenidos a la Pontificia Universidad Católica del Ecuador, la referencia en educación superior en el país desde 1946. Ofrecemos una formación integral, inclusiva y con impacto social, fundamentada en 4 principios: una filosofía humanista de inspiración cristiana, la pedagogía ignaciana, la centralidad del estudiante y la integración de los saberes. Hoy los invitamos a formar parte de una comunidad de 22.000 estudiantes a nivel nacional, todos unidos bajo un mismo ideal: ser más para servir mejor.
El contar con más de 10 institutos de investigación internacional, más de 40 laboratorios y 6 museos únicos nos ha permitido generar estudiantes y docentes de excelencia académica que aportan mundialmente al avance científico y social, traspasando así los límites de nuestros campus.
Además de practicar lo que más me gusta, hago nuevos amigos en los clubes deportivos y culturales.
Desde tu primer día de clases te harás acreedor a la beca socioeconómica y durante toda tu carrera obtendrás diversos incentivos y beneficios económicos.
Nos preocupamos por tu salud física y mental. Estamos siempre preparados para cuidarte.
Garantizamos que nuestros estudiantes, investigadores y practicantes tengan acceso a más de 100 convenios internacionales, lo que permite globalizar tu experiencia dentro y fuera de nuestros campus.
Formamos no solo a los mejores del mundo, sino sobre todo a los mejores para el mundo. ¡Bienvenidos!
PUCE is as I mentioned, a really, really fantastic program option for biology or environmental studies majors, or Spanish majors, even Spanish minors. All right, as a reminder, you can submit your questions via the chat or click raise your hand and we can unmute you. Rolling right along, PUC-Rio is the next program that I'm going to talk about. PUC-Rio is in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which you see pictured here. This program is really ideal for students who are interested in Brazilian culture, and also learning Portuguese. PUC-Rio offers courses taught in English in the following subjects. There's business, there's design, there's history, there's international relations, sociology. Anything else outside of those would primarily be taught in Portuguese. 2 semesters of Spanish or Portuguese or equivalent proficiency are required. You know, Portuguese is the main language of Brazil. We consider Spanish close enough that if you have, 2 or more semesters of Spanish, we'll call it close enough, even though, they're different languages. There is a required 1-month pre-semester intensive Portuguese language course. So before your semester starts, you have to do this 1-month Portuguese course, which we think is a really great opportunity to get to brush up your Portuguese, kind of get acclimated to Rio, and then get into your semester. Students can continue taking Portuguese during the semester if they want, or if they have the credit space to do it. Certainly recommend taking as much Portuguese as you can. Students do stay in homestays, much like PUCE in Ecuador. homestays with families near the campus for your convenience. Spring students, if you go abroad in the spring, you usually get to experience Carnival, the Brazilian version of Carnival, right? And Rio is known for its stunning landscapes, beaches, and culture, most like what you saw in the picture a couple slides ago. And here is a short video.
I was in Rio at a very exciting time. They were successfully impeaching a president, economic crisis, what I would call unsuccessfully preparing for the Olympics. And there I was living in a homestay with 70-year-old Martha Capibaribe in her apartment in Copacabana. So I don't speak Portuguese. I went to Rio with no Portuguese proficiency at all, not even a single class. You learn quickly, and I think being under that pressure, it brings it out of you. And probably around month 4 is when I started reacting in Portuguese, which was the most important in my opinion. I'm the first in my family to get a passport. I knew financial aid-wise, scholarship-wise, I was gonna make it happen, but Rio, I had a 3-to-1 conversion rate. I became comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I interviewed for my internship this past summer. It was with Google, one of the biggest interviews of my life, and I did it at about a month into my program. The interview worked out, and to be able to speak on behalf of my experience abroad, there is this independence that is necessary in a semester abroad that when I went to any employer after, it's like I lived by myself in ways that I was just uncomfortable. But I dealt with it, and I loved it.
See if we have a question in the chat. Okay. PUC-Rio in Brazil, a fantastic opportunity for anyone, especially interested in Brazilian culture or Portuguese language. All right, do we have Jossie here? Is Jossie with us? There she is. Let me see. Alexis, can we? Oh, you're unmuted. Okay, perfect. Jossie Purcell is joining us. There we are. Jossie Purcell is joining us. Jossie went to Radboud University. And so in a moment, she'll speak a little bit about her experience. Jossie, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Before we get to Jossie, let me just note that Radboud is a great all-around academic institution. There are courses in business and management, humanities in the spring only, social sciences in the spring only, STEM, computer science in the spring only. And spring only here because in the fall semester, these subjects, their academic calendars kind of bleed into January. So we don't typically send anybody in the fall semester studying these subjects. That may be changing, but the last I heard, this was the case. Students must declare a main faculty, one of these, but you can take 1 to 2 courses in a different faculty if it makes sense for your DPCL. Most courses are available in English. There's no Dutch language requirement at all, though you can take Dutch and Dutch culture courses if you want. I would maybe describe Radboud as somewhat similar to Loyola in size, support, and community. Jossie, maybe you can confirm or not confirm that. Students can coordinate housing through Radboud. If they like, and Nijmegen is a smaller city, and I would say gives students a better feel for Dutch life than, say, maybe Amsterdam. Jossie, what was your experience with Radboud? Are you there? I think we have to unmute you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I was just about to look up how many undergrads are at Radboud. It seemed a little bit bigger to me in size and amount of people. But yeah, and I had to travel all the way across town from my apartment building to campus every day for classes when we were in person. But the orientation process made it so much more welcoming to me and a lot of my international friends.
And how did your courses work? Talk a little bit about what you studied and how it was different or similar to Loyola.
Yeah, so I'm a music therapy major, which makes it really complicated for me to study abroad. And at the time I was double majoring in psychology. And so I sought out a program that allowed me to take classes in 2 different faculties. And so I took 2, one theology class, one philosophy class in the theology school for the first quarter. And the second quarter, I took 2 psychology classes, and both programs are really, really good.
How would you describe that academic environment or culture with respect to Loyola? Was it a lot different to be a student at Radboud?
It takes a lot more accountability for the students to participate in classes. There are a lot, I mean, some of them are bigger than Loyola classes, and I mean, compared to the ones that I'm usually in.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's in a quarter system, the content is a lot more jam-packed into the quarter, which is a matter of 2 or 3 months. But attending the lectures make it easier, even though they're not as exciting and hands-on as Loyola ones might be. Yeah, it's all about applying yourself, and going abroad is about learning independence and responsibility. So it just adds to the process.
Cool. Let me ask real quick, very briefly, about your housing. Did you coordinate housing through Radboud? And if so, how did it work fine, or what was your experience?
Well, I fortunately had a connection with a foreign exchange student the semester before I went abroad, and she recommended the building that I should live in. It's called Talia, and I loved it. It was all the way across town from campus, but it was right next to the city center where everything else is. Mm-hmm. So it has its perks. And I had the opportunity to choose which building I was in, and like what kind of setup of like living arrangements I wanted to be in. Like some options were in a building of 12 people per floor who all share a kitchen. Some was 6, mine had 4, but 2 of them had to leave because COVID hit while I was abroad, and so they had to return to their home countries. But yeah, there's a lot of options.
COVID, right? So aside from, well, it looks like Mariette has a question.
Yeah, I do have a question really quickly. I guess for those students who are joining this fair right now, what can you tell us, what was the best part of your exchange, and why would you recommend it to other students?
It's a bit,
the
I know.
best part, sorry.
It's a big question, I know.
Yeah, it takes me a second. So many things to choose from. I think what I enjoyed most about studying abroad is just living somewhere else. Somewhere like that contrasts so much from what I chose to go to school in for undergrad and my hometown. I'm from California, and I went to New Orleans. So, I mean, I had already understood what a culture shock was to an extent. But that was sometimes like the most challenging and like most difficult parts were the best parts for me, because it allowed me to work on my own and discover things about myself that I wouldn't have if I stayed home during that time. And like I always tell people, like, despite studying abroad during the peak of the pandemic, it turned out to be the most amazing experience for me. Great. And you said best and worst parts.
I said best, and why should students consider it?
Don't tell us about the worst part.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, I would absolutely want to sell Radboud to other students who are thinking of studying abroad. Of course, people don't always imagine like being living in an old city in Western Europe like I did. But if you are, Nijmegen is the best place, was the best place for me. Like Wyatt said, I think being in Nijmegen is a bigger exposure to the culture than I think I would have had if I lived in Amsterdam. I loved Amsterdam, don't get me wrong, but Nijmegen was kind of like small enough of a city for me to be comfortable in and not get totally lost. And yeah, and everyone speaks English there, which is kind of a cheat, but it's convenient because Dutch is really hard.
Yeah, great. Okay, Mariette, was that good?
Yeah, sorry, that was just my question. I
had the same questions. Jossie, listen, thank you very much for popping in and talking about your Radboud experience. I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. Always good to see you. Cheers.
Cheers, Radboud.
All right. Are we back to my PowerPoint? Can everybody see RMIT? Okay. So thanks to Jossie, Radboud, a really great opportunity to kind of get a Dutch culture experience. And RMIT is the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, and they actually have two campuses. One, of course, is in Melbourne, Australia. The other is in Saigon, Vietnam, and they do offer different courses. So at RMIT Melbourne, this is a really, really great option for our music industry or design students. Music industry specifically, because they do have music industry courses that you can take and knock out credits on your DPCL. But they do offer other things like Australian culture courses, Indigenous culture courses, health and environmental sciences, information tech, and media and communication. At RMIT Vietnam, there is no Vietnamese language requirement. All courses are offered in English, and those courses will typically include communications, digital marketing and media, international business, and management. Students can coordinate housing in RMIT Village or homestays at Melbourne. They can coordinate housing on campus in Saigon, or you can go your own route and do it independently if you're comfortable doing that. Melbourne is consistently ranked as the world's #1 most livable city, though I think recently they were displaced by, I can't remember which city. Saigon, Vietnam is a bustling and historic city of about 9 million people, would be well outside of your cultural bubble. If you're interested in kind of RMIT courses, you've got your choice, Melbourne or Saigon. Let me play this quick video here. Well, before I do that, let me check the chat. Okay, quick video here. As I mentioned, a fantastic opportunity for our music industry students, and that hopefully that video reinforces that. My Italian, I'm going to butcher that, but we call this either Cattolica, or we call this program Sacro Cuore. It is one of our most popular exchange programs. It's located in Milan, Italy, which you can see right there. It's quite historic and beautiful. Most students who choose this program will take Sacro Cuore's international curriculum, and that program will offer business and economics courses, international relations, Italian language or culture, fashion and design, media and communications, and then sociology, psych, and law. You are not restricted into any one of these areas. You can kind of pick and choose anything here as long as it makes sense for your DPCL and there's room to enroll. All courses are in English, and you do take them primarily with other international study abroad students. There is no Italian language proficiency requirement, but of course we always recommend learning as much as you can before you go. Sacro Cuore does offer a 2-week pre-semester intensive Italian language and culture course. Loyola requires this for students who choose this program, and we also pay for it. There's no additional charge for you. This program is a really great option for students who have electives or core credits that they want to fulfill and want to just kind of be in Italy. Students do arrange housing independently. There are no on-campus or Sacro Cuore affiliated housing options, though they do partner with a number of housing providers that they list on their website. You can access them there. But ultimately, it's up to the student to coordinate their own housing. Milan is quote unquote centrally located in Europe for those who want to travel. And Milan itself is a big city. Want to stress that it is not like the idyllic Tuscan experience that many people think of when they think of Italy. Here's a short video. So as I mentioned, Sacro Cuore is one of our, I'd call it one of our most popular exchanges. Lots of students have been there and all seem to love it. The next program I'm going to highlight is Sogang University. Sogang is in Seoul, South Korea, Seoul being the capital. Sogang is a Jesuit institution, and it offers courses in a wide variety of subjects, including business. And it is AACSB accredited, which means that we have a lot of confidence in their business courses. You can get Korean language and culture courses, although not recently, not in the last semester or two have I seen Korean language courses. They definitely offer Korean culture courses, but I don't recall seeing Korean language offered at least this past semester. They do offer, the standard humanities courses, social sciences courses like psych, poli-sci, that type of thing, and some STEM courses are available there as well. Sogang, the types of students that I see applying for Sogang generally have some core and electives, and they have a real intense interest in Korea and Korean culture. So that would be like a real perfect student to send to Sogang. There's no Korean language proficiency requirements at all. I mean, of course, we always recommend that you learn as much of the language as you can before you go, but you don't need to know any Korean for your courses or your academic environment. Most of what you need at Sogang is offered in English. Sogang does also offer service learning and volunteering opportunities in addition to the courses that you can take. They do offer STEM lab internships, which ends up being about approximately 5 hours a week if you're interested in that. And they do offer a really unique program called the Seoul Global Internship, which is 7 to 10 weeks in the summer, working in a Seoul metropolitan government office in urban planning or agricultural matters. So if you're interested in having an international internship experience in Korea, and this somewhat makes sense for you, it's definitely worth checking out. Students can coordinate on-campus housing through some Sogang-owned housing facilities. I will take the opportunity to mention that for at least on-campus students who live on campus at Loyola, you tend to save money on room and board when you go to Sogang. That's been the experience that I've heard from past students. I can't speak to anyone who rents, in New Orleans, but certainly if you're living on campus, there's a likelihood that you could save money on room and board at least. Sogang campus and dorms are near Seoul city center, so you're kind of right in the action. You don't have to travel too far. And Seoul is the world's 4th largest city and an emerging influence on global popular culture. If anyone's into K-pop, I'm sure you know a lot about that. Remember, if you have questions, you can submit them via the chat at any time, or you can click raise your hand and we can unmute you. The next program I'm going to talk about is Sophia University. Sophia is located in Tokyo, Japan. Here's a picture. I get lost looking at this picture. Sophia is also similar to Sogang. It is a Jesuit institution and it offers courses in comparative cultures. So Japanese and American comparisons, Japanese and European comparisons, stuff like that. They offer courses in international business and economics, social science, STEM. They have a fairly new green sciences program, which is there's probably a lot there for anybody in environmental studies or environmental sciences. Sustainable Futures is another new program that they offer, and certainly Japanese language or culture courses they offer as well. Much like Sogang, this program, I tend to see students who have core or electives, and they have a real deep interest in Japanese culture. That's not to say that you have to be deeply interested in Japanese culture to get a lot out of this program. That's just the type of student that I normally see applying to it. Like Sogang and Korea, you don't really need to have any Japanese language proficiency at all. Several courses are taught in English. There are several additional scholarship opportunities for study in Japan. JASO is one of them. Freeman Asia is one of them. And if Sophia is a program that you're interested in, I'll talk more about those opportunities in an advising appointment. But just know that they're out there. And due to Sophia's academic calendar, we can really only send students either in the spring semester or for a full academic year. And that's because Sophia's fall semester ends kind of in February. So coming back to Loyola, you'd miss the first couple weeks to a month of classes. Wouldn't make many people, your professors, too happy about that. So we typically can't send students for the fall semester only. Students can arrange various off-campus housing options through Sophia. They help you figure that out. But ultimately, it is up to you to finalize those things. Sophia is in the Tokyo city center, so you're in the middle of a 35 million person metropolitan area, so there's never nothing to do. And yeah, Tokyo is the most populous metro area in the world, always something to do. You'll never get bored in Tokyo. So I'm seeing some question in the chat from Gianna. Gianna asks, when should we start advising for a Tokyo semester next spring? You can start right now, if you like. The application deadline for spring outbound programs is September 1st. So, it's February 5th right now. You've got several months, but we certainly encourage you to start earlier, sooner rather than later. So Jana, if you are looking at Tokyo for spring of 2022, I would suggest making an appointment as soon as you can. Hope that answers your question. Great. Here's a quick video. Okay, just kidding. Not sure why that changed. Let's see if we can pull it up. Sorry, just a moment. Let's see if we can watch this video together.
Small seminar classes, so you have a lot of interaction with the professors, and it really facilitates learning.
The classes are small and there's like exchange students in them, so we talk to them. We maybe like after school, after class, go get a couple of drinks.
And I found they had a literature program, so I would be able to study literature as I wanted to. I could also continue to study Japanese in Japan, so I could actually use it in practice.
So various classes, for example, philosophy, as well as art history or sociology. And the professors there are very, very competent.
Sophia University is founded by the Society of Jesus. Students benefit immensely from the ability to study the latest developments in their chosen field of specialization with distinguished Japanese and international faculty members. Sophia University has offered English medium programs for more than 60 years. Agreements with more than 250 overseas universities in 50 countries ensures the dynamic mobility of our students. Over 1,000 international students are studying at Sophia from around the world. By offering an environment that brings together students and faculty members from different backgrounds, the campus functions as a global society. No less beneficial is the university's location in Tokyo, a megacity that invites students to enjoy all the benefits of its state-of-the-art technology, facilities, infrastructure. Students can study business and economics, science and technology, and environmental studies, all strengths in of Japan and English. What is unique about the program is it offers courses in English where students can study environmental issues from different aspects of science and humanities. Sophia University provides a wide variety of Japanese courses for international students. The school aims to lay the groundwork for students' abilities to use foreign language to logically develop their own way of thinking, present their thoughts, and negotiate at a deeper level. Located in the heart of Tokyo, Sophia University is a thriving, diverse, and cosmopolitan institution which serves to bring the world together.
Okay, let me go back to make sure I'm back on my PowerPoint. If you noticed the map of Sophia's exchange partners, you'll see that there are a lot. And so in addition to being a really great opportunity to get into Japanese culture, you're also studying with people from all over the world. So you're exposed to their cultures as well. Sophia, a great option if you're interested in Japan, Japanese culture, if you want to visit Tokyo, lots of reasons to explore Sophia. Let's see, is there let's see, Olivia is asking, when is the spring semester in Japan? Great question, Olivia. Yeah, their spring semester starts late March. And actually this year it's starting April 1st. So it does start late, which means you come back late, typically around the end of end of July. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Olivia. Excuse me. The last program I believe I'm going to highlight today is TU Dortmund, and that is located in Dortmund, Germany. TU being kind of the German equivalent of a technical university Dortmund, although that's not all that they offer. TU Dortmund does offer many English top courses in subjects like business, comparative cultures, and especially British and American studies, humanities, liberal arts, and also the social sciences. As part of this TU Dortmund program, students are required to take a 4-week pre-semester intensive German language course. So if you're a little bit worried about not knowing any German at all, this 4-week intensive language course should give you the survival basics. And if you have some German already, this will be a great program for you to kind of build and improve on what you already know about German. There is no German language requirement, though we do give preference to students who have studied German before. And TU Dortmund, in addition to the courses that you can take there, they do offer 2 really great internship opportunities. One is called the Global Edge Internship Program. That is for business students who are going to be there for the full year. So in the first semester, you're taking courses like a regular semester. In the second semester, you're doing there's internship and with, I think, kind of like a business culture course attached to that as well. So great opportunity to get kind of a European business experience. And the other internship opportunity they offer is a school teaching internship for future education professionals. This one's really interesting. I'm not sure that we would have a lot of Loyola students that this makes sense for, but they do place you in a local educational institution, which usually looks like a kind of a K through 12 setting. And you are working with German teachers to kind of do the classes and stuff like that. So really great opportunities these internships are to get into German society and learn a bit more about that. See if we have some chat questions. Nora is asking, do they offer music courses? Nora, I assume you're asking about TU Dortmund. I can't recall seeing a ton of what I would call music courses. I do know that we sent a student in spring of 2020 who took voice lessons. So without knowing what specifically you mean by music courses, I'm not sure I can answer your question too specifically. I guess what I would say about TU Dortmund is that I wouldn't bank on finding a whole lot of music courses at TU Dortmund. Now, depending on what type of music courses you're looking for, there could potentially be some other programs that would be really great options for you to explore. Music performance would be one thing, music industry, or just music studies in general. There are programs out there that we could look at. I'm not sure TU Dortmund would be the best place to get music courses, though. I hope that helps. Students cannot enroll in the fall semester only, and that again is because Dortmund's fall semester bleeds into January, so you'd be coming back late. Students can arrange housing in on-campus dorms if they want. You're not required to, but it's there if you want it. And Dortmund is in the west of Germany and is known as a green metropolis. It used to be kind of a very industrial part of Germany and has since reinvented itself as kind of a green tech, renewable energies type place. Here's a quick video.
do it, you can do it. I used to be an exchange student, so just go ahead and apply. Come to Dortmund. We're happy to have you.
TU Dortmund. Let's see if we have a question in the chat. Dortmund does offer music classes, but they are in German. Yeah, there you go. So Nora, probably not the best program. Maybe they have something if you want to take one course or something like that. But, you know, if you have core and electives, you know, we could probably find other things for you at Dortmund too. So that is it for our Loyola Exchange Programs Review, Part 2. If you are interested in anything that we've talked about today or all week, your next steps would be to visit studyabroad.loyola.edu to learn more about our individual exchange programs or to make an advising appointment. It is never, ever too early to meet with your academic advisor to plan study abroad into your DPCL. The sooner you have that conversation, the better. Check the How Connect CIE page for upcoming study abroad related events and upcoming international themed events. And we're on Instagram at Loyno Abroad. And